Monitoring and evaluation is about the collection of information in programs and projects in combination with its analysis and use. Monitoring and evaluation have complementary but distinct functions. For monitoring, it's very much about checking progress, accountability, tracking results, and updating funders. Evaluation is about comparing a plan with what actually happens. To what extent did the means contribute to the desired end? Was the action undertaken in the best way so as to achieve most results? Evaluation is very much about accountability, providing knowledge, giving us learning and legitimacy. If we compare for a moment what is the difference between monitoring and evaluation, monitoring in terms of scope, inputs and outputs, evaluation is much more concerned with the outputs, effects and impacts. In terms of purpose, monitoring determines if the activity is proceeding as intended. And for evaluation, it's around learning lessons for the future. In terms of timing, monitoring happens during implementation, where evaluation is more periodic and after completion. For monitoring, maybe we're relying on reports and records, and evaluation uses our monitoring data plus external information. Monitoring tends to be done more internally. Evaluation tends to be a combination of internal and outsiders. And monitoring is about management and used by managers, whereas evaluation is more for funders and planners. So we can say monitoring is day-to-day. It documents process. It focuses on inputs and outputs, and it alerts managers to problems and self-assessment. Whereas evaluation is periodic. Important milestones, in-depth analysis of achievements, focuses on outcomes and impacts, provides managers with strategy and policy analysis, and for external analysis. Fundamental is the result we want. A result is a describable or measurable change that derive from a cause and effect relationship. Result equals change, and this is a cause-effect relationship. And the idea is that we must establish a chain of results, which goes from input to output to outcome to impact. And it's important to think in a linear cause and effect logic. And it's very important in all our work in monitoring and evaluation that we have this chain of results very clear. Just to define a little bit, inputs, these are the human, material, financial and other resources that are required to undertake activities. Activities are actions taken or work performed to produce specific outputs through mobilizing inputs. Output, these are immediate results as a consequence of completed activities. The outcome, these are likely to or achieve short-term and medium-term effects of outputs. And impact is those long-term effects that are the logical consequence of the achievement of the outcomes. Monitoring is much more concerned with input, output, and moving towards outcome, whereas evaluation is kind of capturing the whole element, but largely focuses on the outcome and impact. One thing to be thinking about in our evaluations is the DAC criteria. this provides a useful set of elements in which we can plan and manage and implement an evaluation, and consists of 6 elements, and you should be fairly familiar with these and make sure you are. Sustainability, will the benefits last? Impact, what difference does the intervention make? Efficiency, how well are resources being used? Effectiveness, is the intervention achieving its objectives? Coherence, how well does the intervention fit? Relevance, is the intervention doing the right things? We can add to the words monitoring and evaluation accountability and learning. So we often when we see monitoring evaluation, we often see the acronym MEAL, which stands for monitoring, evaluation, accountability and learning. And in this diagram here, we can see how monitoring and evaluation fit into the project cycle. And so they are very incremental and very useful to the project cycle.